Today is the 23rd of February. Forgot to see what the temperature was, but it's probably in the low 50s. It's 10:30 in the morning. This week we're only supposed to have lows in the 40s, and the highs actually a few days get into, well, just reach 80 degrees, so high 70s. So that's amazing, because although I will say every February we get a warm spell for a few days. So, and I mean warm like what some people would call summery. Anyway, I thought I will show my junk because I'm kind of proud of what we've accomplished so far. We took the half shed that was in there, and all it had in it were these big pots, and it wasn't a good utilization of the space, the shed. So I took those pots out because I do have that potting shed there, and I put I have some big drip trays. In fact, I have so many drip trays, and I never wanted them in my potting shed, but I had to put them in my potting shed to put them away, basically, because there were so many of them. So anyway, now they're in the half shed, and I'll show the half shed. And then I also put all my cloches, all the things that I would use to cover plants are in that half shed too. So I think it's over in the garden where it's probably the best place for it. Gets a lot of stuff out of here and helps me organize further. And then my husband built me this. We had this old umbrella stand. We had a huge rectangular umbrella at one time with a pretty good size dining table, and I didn't sell it. I was gonna say I sold the dining table, but I gave it away, and this family needed it, and it was perfect. I found a perfect home for it. And so I kept the umbrella, and then when the umbrella went bad, I kept the umbrella stand. And I've always wanted this coat rack to hold my watering cans and stuff like that, but it always blew over anytime we got a strong wind. Well, I don't think it's gonna do that anymore. So that's pleasant. Let's see, I know this isn't gardening necessarily, but up there in the top, that is an artemisia right there, and that's an artemisia, that bush. And so I'm gonna cut back the bush, and when I did last year, I took the cuttings and stuck them in water, maybe, or maybe I just stuck them right in soil. But that's one of the plants that was an artemisia before, and it's such a awesome plant that I'm glad to be growing it. So, oops. Overhead noise. I finally got my mums trimmed back, and we emptied that pot enough using this tub here that we could place it back there, and I'm gonna put something showy in it. So I'm gonna put the soil back in it, but we want to level it out and everything first. We had quite a bit of wind this last week. I mean, pretty significant wind with some rain. And so we had only maybe 2 days worth of decent temperatures. I mean, where we could get out, sunshine and stuff. Otherwise it was just cold and rainy. So I enjoyed the rain, but I'm glad to have the sun this week. Look at my violas. I think they're so pretty. And then I don't know if I showed this, but I have snapdragons that I planted last year, and they never had a chance to get very big, but they've gotten quite big. And then I had sprinkled some cilantro in there, so there's some cilantro. And my muscari is starting to pop up, and that's exciting. So I'm pleased with what I'm seeing so far. Let me grab my coffee here. I have been weeding, like all of these little weeds that are in here. I've been picking those out of the rock. And if they're a flower or something, I've been trying to save them. I trimmed back my baby's breath or alyssum, whatever that is that's in those. So I gave it a good haircut. That's in my GreenStalk. My husband finished up, he had to put, he had to relocate these lights, and he had to fix this landscape light, and then he relocated that one over there. So now I can finish this up. I'm gonna move the rocks and stuff. He also, because it was wet enough, he got the edging in there, and now this is probably about 6 or 7 inches wider than it used to be, which will be nice. We'll be able to move our carts in and out of there pretty easily. So yesterday, because I was working on organizing my pavilion area over there, and he was working on the lights, I have not touched this Vego bed, but I may get to that today. I don't know yet. It's a possibility though. Oops. I just had a bird. And we made the, ooh, I got a cabbage head that's protruding over there. And I did water everything that was in here. I'm going to take these off. I haven't done it yet, but it's my intention to remove the covers now. It could be our fool's spring, but I also think we are warmer now, so we're probably not going to have any more bitterly cold evenings. So I have sheets to throw over anything that I might need to the last minute, so it's not like I can't accommodate some covering. And I want to get this thing painted and moved, and then, like I say, there's my shed. It fit really nice there, and I think in proximity to the garden it's going to be really nice. Not so much for the drip trays, because I don't really have those in the garden, but all of the covers for plants and stuff are in there, and it's organized really nicely. So I think that's about, I'll show the salvia's still doing really well. And this is plumbago. I always forget what that is, but that's what it is. And I'll probably, after I take the covers off of everything, we're probably gonna start composting the beds too and get those, because we have some nematodes, the good nematodes, that we're gonna put into the garden, and we need to do that within the next week, and we'll probably do it this week. So I'll walk down my pathway here because I'm so happy I have it now where I don't have to walk on rocks. This feels good. Show the asparagus fern and the, look at all of those petunias. I'm probably going to move some of those outside. The other thing, I think, since we're probably going to cut back that artemisia, is we're going to be working on our waterfall, and then I'm going to trim all of the grasses down so that we get ready for the green flush from them. So I did not think I'd have this many pockets full of things that were still growing. I really did not. I figured everything would be redone. And so I'll probably be putting compost in these, and I'll probably be taking these celosia or quail grass, whatever they are, these big monsters, out of here. I cut one back and I was gonna see if it does anything. I'm thinking I probably killed it by cutting it back like that, but we'll see. If it starts to bush out, then that's what I'll do with these, but I don't know that it will. Oh, because of the winds, that branch that was stuck up in the trees has worked its way down, so I can grab that branch right there. That's awesome. And then we're gonna start cleaning up these beds. And I have some multi-hook shepherd hooks coming that we're gonna use. We're probably gonna put some hummingbird feeders in the back here, somewhere along here. I kind of like the idea of putting them in this bed right where this pathway goes back, because they'll get lots of sun, and then these solar lanterns will go on the hooks because they really put out a pretty display. That pattern looks really nice. I need to cut that grass back as well, and I probably will start moving stuff out of these pots up to the top of the yard later this week. And I still haven't rototilled these, but I'm going to be doing that too. And then, like I say, I don't know what I'll get done this week, but these are just my projects. And then this is my last Vego bed that needs to get stuff taken out of it, emptied, a bottom put on it, and then it can be redone so that I don't have the tree roots any longer. Look at all the flowers that are in there. I think those are Love in a Mist, and I'm gonna try to save those and put those in the Vego beds, but we'll see. And I think I've decided that this year I will be planting, I've got some California bluebells that I'm going to put in here, and a cup and saucer vine, and I'm going to let some basil grow in here, some cinnamon basil, but I'm not going to use these beds. These are going to be ornamental. I'm not going to plant anything necessarily edible in them, but we shall see. You never know. Anyway, I think that's all I wanted to cover. I'll show my Wildflowers, they took a beating because of the wind, but they bounced back a little bit. And we'll be cutting these lantana back too. Lots of pruning needs to happen, but we've been kind of waiting until it warms up a little bit. I think we're getting close to where we can start pruning though. Got a gorgeous sky. There is some clouds in the distance, and there was towards the north this morning, but it looks pretty nice now. That's our garden diary.